Hi, my name is Scott Miller from the International Center for Clinical Excellence, and I'm very pleased to be here today for Censo to celebrate with them their 15-year anniversary. This is really a time of tremendous change in the Netherlands with regard to practice. I know that because I've been coming back and forth here now for close to 3 years. During that time, I know there's been a shift from rather government-funded to insurance funding, and that's playing a more central role in clinicians' lives from day to day. Actually, not too long ago in the United States, we went through a very similar transition. And frankly, we didn't weather it too well, that is us clinicians. We didn't stand up, we didn't raise our voices, and we didn't know what the research actually said. And as a result, the work of clinicians has been greatly constrained. Freedom to practice has been curtailed, and many clinicians have left the field. We have a problem we call the graying of psychotherapy. Young clinicians just aren't entering the field. There are a number of reasons for that, but a great deal of it has to do with the lack of freedom clinicians have now to practice in the United States in ways that they think are best for both themselves and for their clients. It's strange really because it would have been so easy to avoid had people paid attention to what the research literature actually says. And really right now there are two kind of competing ideas about how to solve the issue of accountability facing the field. The first idea is to kind of follow in the footsteps of medicine. Now there's nothing wrong with medicine really, but when it's applied to psychological process, that medical model doesn't work all that well and really doesn't explain how psychological treatments work. Let me just state for the record right now that the research literature is clear. Psychotherapy works. The average treated client in studies going back over 30 years is better off than 80% of the untreated sample. So once again, psychotherapy works. That's not the issue. The issue really is, how do we know it works with a particular client delivered by a given therapist during a particular treatment episode? And here there's a debate. On one side are people who are saying that if you adopt very specific models of clinical practice and do only those models, that you'll end up with better outcomes. On the other side of the debate are groups like ours that say that clinicians need to have the practice to tailor the best treatment approach to their individual clients. In the U.S., unfortunately, we've ended up with more of the former than the latter. Clinicians' freedom, as I said, has dissipated under the weight of so-called evidence-based practice. The claim has been that if you adopt an evidence-based practice, whatever that might be and how it's defined, that you'll have, again, better outcomes. Our research shows that really there's not much difference between treatment models in application. The big challenge is, as clinicians all know, how do I design a treatment that's best for the individual client I happen to be faced with on this day? In order to do that, clinicians have to have lots of knowledge at their disposal. Awareness of many different treatment alternatives, and then monitor their treatment practices. That is, they need to find out, does the client feel engaged by whatever ideas and techniques you happen to be using? If a client's not engaged, as you know, then they're much less likely to be helped. In addition, even if clients are engaged, we know that there has to be an outcome associated with it. In fact, a good indicator of a dependent therapy relationship is a relationship that is really strong but doesn't have any results to it, and that goes on for some time. So our particular group has been offering something instead of evidence-based practice. We call it practice-based evidence. What does that mean? That clinicians monitor on a routine basis to find evidence that their practice with this client is actually helping. Do I have a good alliance? If not, what can I do to adjust the treatment to better fit that individual client? Number two, when I adjust and adapt and fit a treatment to a client, does that treatment actually work? Now here is, for me, the pièce de résistance, and that is that when therapists are allowed to deliver a treatment to their client that they believe fits and adjust that therapy on an ongoing basis using feedback, outcomes improve dramatically. Two relevant studies indicate that that increase is anywhere from 65 to 300%. Let me tell you about the latter. In a study of couples therapy just about to be released from the Journal of Consulting and Clinical Psychology, couples that both met their objectives in the couples therapy increased from 15 to threefold 45%. simply by getting feedback. It's an astonishing finding. Allowing the clinicians to put their expertise to work in the local culture and context in which they work, and then getting feedback on an ongoing basis. What does this require? It requires that you have ongoing support from some kind of organization, an organization that can help you practice in a free way, to help you adjust, to provide measures and feedback to you, and to provide alternatives for you when your work with a particular client isn't actually helping, a colleague that you can refer to or consult with, etc. This is what's required, we believe, and that's why on our particular website, the ICCE website, you can go to and download free measures and tools and begin getting feedback from your clients on an ongoing basis. Clinicians need to have the freedom to tailor treatment to fit their individual clients. With groups like that, I'm sure that practitioners in the Netherlands will be able to survive and thrive and weather the coming changes in the field. Thanks so very much.